What's up, Riders Nation? Today you're going to come with us on a journey as we transform Riders Nation YouTube channel into Hooligan Nation and talk about our KISS fandom.
Rock on.
Let's cue the intro, because you got nothing to lose.
You wanted the best? Well, they retired. So you got two dudes in a garage
talking KISS.
So welcome to the Riders Nation YouTube channel. As we said earlier, today we're transforming the Riders Nation YouTube channel into the Hooligan Nation KISS Fandom YouTube channel. Now let's be clear. The Riders Nation YouTube channel is mainly about motorcycles and is going to continue to be mainly about motorcycles. But every once in a while, maybe more often than once in a while, we like to venture out into different areas. Today is going to be our first KISS video. As I've said in earlier videos, nobody puts baby in the corner. You don't want to get cornered into just doing KISS or just doing the Raiders either. I have a pretty schizophrenic music collection. I would say it's good.
Yeah, I would say so.
I would say it was pretty schizophrenic.
As his cousin, I would definitely back that up.
So you could see other music here, but mainly the music channel is going to be KISS, I think. So this is pretty much two dudes in a garage talking about KISS today. With that being said, I will throw it over to my cousin and let him introduce himself.
How you doing? I'm Johnny.
Sure you don't want to be Rocco?
I could be Rocco. A lot of people know me as Rocco too. Most people actually know me as Rocco. It's my middle name. He's known me as Johnny since we were little babies. But part of the reason that him being your content creator, your subscribers out there, is he wants to give you some variety, and he has a lot of variety. You have motorcycle fans, but motorcycle fans, there's a lot of layers to them. They're not just into motorcycles. Again, who I am, I'm a huge KISS fan. I don't ride motorcycles, but me and him are more than cousins. We're like brothers. We have been since we were born, basically. Share a lot of same interests, and that's why you're going to probably get a lot of different content that's going to extend from Riders Nation. So, and hopefully you're going to enjoy it. Hopefully you're going to add comments and share it with your friends and everything like that. And hopefully you're going to enjoy the KISS video that we do today.
So, what brought you to the dance to become a KISS fan? Where did it all begin?
Well, before I even go in there, it's been a big part of my life. KISS has always been the root. I'm a big music fan, and KISS is kind of like a different element of band and music. They were introduced to me when I was about 12 years old, and you around the same time. I can't give you an exact moment, but we've definitely had some different fun moments. Growing up, listening to KISS, pretending we were them. I mean, every Halloween for years I was dressing up as Gene Simmons. They made you identify. Each member he made you identify with them. They were kind of like superheroes. But I can remember like listening to Double Platinum, which was like a compilation of all their songs early on, introduced to me by your brother. And I just remember burning that album out like crazy. They have a lot of different songs with a lot of different flavors, like ice cream. And that's kind of what did it for me. I mean, Come On and Love Me was probably like the one song that I probably listened to the most. That was like the one that really got me started. And I get addicted to KISS for a while. So, like I said, they got a lot of different songs, a lot of different eras of music. And the following that KISS has is, not many bands have that. Their favorite reference or influence that they had was the Beatles, and they wanted to be like a Beatles band and appear to the masses and be big. And I think they actually achieved more than they ever dreamed they would be.
People beat them up for not being great musicians.
I think it was a lazy take.
I'm not a musician in any way, but I don't think any of them are bad musicians.
One of the slogans, on your point, one of the slogans they had, right? What does KISS stand for? Keep it simple, stupid. I'm a musician.
Or
You
does
know
it,
this.
or does it stand for Knights
Knights
and
and Satan
Satan
Service.
Service?
Yeah, but
Oh,
I'm only using the keep it simple stupid part because you said, you know, they thought that they were simplistic.
oh, I know what
musicians.
you said.
Right.
Just,
I mean, I'm a musician, and one of the comparisons they always compared KISS to, they're you know, smoke and mirrors and their theatrics, Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin was always the band that they would compare them to. But you can overcomplicate things. I like the simplicity. But I mean, Ace Frehley is a great guitarist. They had, you know, bottom line, what I want is when you hear it on the radio, you identify that band right away. That means that they created their sound. So to me, that's musicianship for me.
they created their sound and they recreated like 4 other sounds.
Right, and they adapted with the eras, absolutely.
They had their Donna Summer sound.
Right.
They had their Nirvana
I
sound.
love the Dynasty album.
Yeah, you know, I'm just saying.
They rolled with the times and they persevered. Bands, even though they broke up, you know, 2 of the guys left. I mean, it's like a marriage, and so many bands don't last. Even if it's just Gene and Paul keeping it going, keeping the engine moving, they still were able to persevere through all those years and like adapt and still keep an audience.
So what brought me to the dance? I don't really have any memory of that moment. So you're 54,
Right.
I'm 49. I do know that I do have an original KISS lunchbox upstairs
I remember that. You still got that?
with the thermos, by the way. I do still have that. And that's an original. Like I bought some other minor collectible.
What condition? It's all banged up, or it still looks
Oh
good?
yeah, it looks like an 8-year-old took it to school and slammed it against the wall and everything else, but I still have it. But that brings me to think, you know, 40 some years later, that I'm sure that my interest in KISS started visually. I can't pinpoint an exact time when the music came in, but I know that as soon as the music came in, it would have technically been the non-makeup era, whether it was Lick It Up or Animalize, which I can't I mean, we're both children of the MTV age.
Right.
So
But that's the interesting thing that you brought up to me before in the past when we've talked about KISS. Me and you both started around, you know, 2 years difference, right? Or right, 2 years different?
No.
4 year?
A little more.
We basically.
See, you're 54 and I'm 49. And 54 minus 49
But that's
is
all
5.
right. But the point that I was trying to make is me and you started liking KISS after the makeup, right? And
Yeah, I think for sure.
So-
I mean, I think being a KISS fan, I just know that as soon as I got hooked on the music, I immediately went backwards to the makeup era.
That was kind of the point that I was making. Like, you know, the fun part is we went backwards into the history
And I
and
think
continued our fandom.
I think most fans, especially of KISS, whatever era you come in is the era that you love. I mean, KISS has got a lot of eras.
Right.
If we compare them to Aerosmith, just as an example, Aerosmith's got 2 eras. They got pre-Run DMC and post-Run DMC. That's what they got.
Yeah.
So if you came in at Run DMC or later, that's probably your era. If you came in before that was probably your era. With KISS, there's so many different eras. I mean, probably got the first 6 years, I'd say 73 to 78 or 79. And then you have the drop a grenade at your feet era, which was Dynasty and The Elder, and that.
It was definitely a different time in their career.
And then there's Creatures of the Night, which I think was a resurgence. musically was a resurgence, and that slides into Lick It Up.
I think it's safe to say Eric Carr definitely changed their sound.
Right, big booming. It was a different kind of drummer. Big booming drums. I think
Visually, I thought he fit right in though.
Creatures of the Night is probably the closest thing that they have to a heavy metal album.
Good point.
And then they slide into Lick It Up, which is, I think, is a great album.
I do too.
And then they start to make that turn into what would be 80s glam hair band. And they go, you know, all the way crazy to Asylum and Crazy Nights, and
There's a lot of good music in that era though.
and then they make their probably their second hardest record, Revenge, that brings them back another time, and then they go into grunge, which with probably the least listened to record of any of their records.
Yeah, I know, I didn't listen
Which
to
is
it.
Carnival of Souls. I mean,
Right.
so it's
Yeah, I
kind
knew
of
where you were
crazy.
going with
So my point is, it's kind of different that we came in the non-makeup era and immediately. I mean, it was the beginning of the non-makeup era, but we both backtracked right to the mid '70s to the makeup, to their being the biggest band in the world. And I think that gives us a little bit different of a perspective.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, so what's your favorite KISS album?
Well, my favorite KISS album, you've probably heard me say this before, and you always tell me, that's not an album, that's a compilation.
It's
So-
not an album.
Huh?
Double Plutonium is not an album, it's a compilation.
But I burnt that out. I listened to that like nonstop.
But it's
I
not
get
an
the best of
album.
both worlds. All right.
It's not a studio album.
That being said, there's really not a lot of KISS stuff I don't like, The Elder excluded from that.
I keep hearing people tell me that The Elder is a great record.
Even if you're open-minded and you're trying to look at it, listen, it's conceptual. I love the Dynasty album. But I mean, I'm also somebody who, I like the evolution of a band where they go into different eras and different genres. And I'm not pigeonholed to like one type of music either. Like I like rap, I like metal, I like even like the heaviest of heavy, and I like yawn, and I can listen to everything, but KISS has always been my constant in my life. As far as favorite album, if a gun was to my head, it'd have to be Dynasty.
I would have to say that my favorite album is either Love Gun or Destroyer. It's definitely one of those two.
Can't make a bad choice in that. Good
And
albums.
if we were to open it up to things like compilations like you want to do, it would definitely be the Unplugged record. And it would be the Unplugged. You know, I said earlier, off camera, I said earlier that it would be Unplugged because of Nothing to Lose. That's actually not completely the truth. Coming Home.
Coming Home, yeah.
Coming Home.
Good one.
Now, do you know what album Coming Home comes off of? I bet
I'm
you
gonna
don't.
say Unmasked. I'm
No,
guessing.
it comes off of Hotter Than Hell, and it does not sound anything like the version that
You were
is
telling me
on
that
Unplugged.
before. Yeah.
It's amazing. Coming Home and
Sounds overproduced.
no,
The album sounds
no,
like songs
it sounds
overproduced.
like the rest of Hotter Than Hell does. Like the Hotter Than Hell has a not great sound to me. Like everything on it
That's
doesn't have.
Casablanca still, right?
Yes, doesn't have a great sound to me. Like the mixing of it
Right.
doesn't sound great to me. Coming Home Unplugged is a great song. Just like Nothing to Lose on Unplugged is by far the best version for me is the best version of Nothing to Lose ever. But we can't use compilation albums, so it's either Love Gun or Destroyer, and I think it really depends on the day. Destroyer very much was their defining moment. All right, so how about your favorite song?
My favorite song, I mean, there's so many KISS songs that I love. I mean, I love to sing too, and I play guitar, so there's so many songs that I like, and some I like because I like the vocals, some I like because I like the riffs.
Can you sing us a song?
Just kidding. Actually, I love We Are One. We Are One's one of the newer songs of theirs, you know, latest era of their songs, but I love everything about that. I love the intro riff to it. I like what it stands for. Come On and Love Me is my first song. That was my first KISS song that I burnt out like crazy. So Come On and Love Me is probably one of my favorite all-time songs. But I like She, Black Dot. There's too many KISS songs for me to really completely pick one. But if I had to pick one, We Are One kind of sums up what I feel like they stand for.
Do you care that it was the reunion album and neither Peter Criss nor Ace Frehley plays on We Are One? Do you care?
No. Mainly because at the end of the day, and a lot of people may not like this take, but my take has always been, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley can be real misers, and they can be tyrants and get criticized for the ownership of that. At the end of the day, they kept the name alive all these years for Peter and Ace to still have a platform to be able to use it. So, and for the record, I love all four of them, and I love Bruce Kulick. Like I like all the different vegetables that's in the stew. Bruce Kulick, Eric Carr,
So
even Vinnie Vincent.
if they're all vegetables in the story, then surely Vinnie Vincent is a fruit.
I'm not going to touch that one in this era.
And Tommy Thayer isn't a fruit nor a vegetable.
But an excellent guitar player.
He's like a laxative.
Again, I'm not touching that.
Okay. My favorite KISS song is really simple, doesn't make much sense to me, but it's I Stole Your Love off of Love Gun. Like you, Paul Stanley is not my favorite member of the group for some reason. I just love that song. They used to open up concerts to that song. I think I like it.
I'm sure a few of those I was with you at.
I think I like it more because of the live version, which probably could be said of 90% of KISS songs sound better live than they do in the studio.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're a live band.
Absolutely. But it's I Stole Your Love, but there's a long line of number twos. And going off of what you said earlier, Psycho Circus, I think is a great song. I think it's a great song too. I think it's a great album, but I also think it's a great song. Black Diamond, Nothing Blues, I said earlier. There's just so many of them.
There's
Not for the Innocent, War Machine, I Love It Loud, Unholy.
You know what's cool about their music too? It's like a movie you haven't seen in forever, and when you watch it again, it's still cool and it's new. Their music's like that.
Yeah.
It's a song you haven't heard in ages. You're like, oh man, I forgot how good this tune was.
How about your favorite member? Can be anybody, even the fruit.
Vinnie Vincent. I'm kidding.
There you go.
I'm kidding.
Why not?
I'm kidding. I mean, he's an incredible guitar player, but no. Gene Simmons, I've always come back to Gene Simmons every time to Halloween when I dressed up. If I didn't know what costume I was wearing, I'd go to my old go-to, I'd go to Gene Simmons. In this day and age of identifying, I've always identified with Gene Simmons.
Do you identify with Gene Simmons because of the musical aspect or because of the visual aspect? I mean, do you identify with Gene Simmons because he's the demon? Or do you identify with Gene Simmons because he sings We Are One?
Well, no, you know what? I actually, he never really ever gets talked about his quality of voice and vocals, whatever, but I love his voice. So I would say the sound, but I never got into playing bass. So I would say the aura of the demon, of Gene Simmons, but I also love his voice too. But I love Paul Stanley's voice. not a big fan of Paul Stanley, but
Or what's left of it.
or what's left.
But that's another show, I guess. Another show. So my favorite member is by far Peter Criss. I'm sure it was mostly visual. He was the cat. He was the Italian. I'm sure that that's got something to do with it. And I think Ace would be second, and then probably Gene, and then Paul. But there's a big drop off. I mean, show-wise, Gene spits blood, Gene breathes fire. Peter was the one that I quote-unquote identified with for whatever reason. I mean, I like most Peter Criss songs that aren't on his solo album, because that was a hot mess. But most of his KISS songs, I had that on 8-track too. Yeah, we just showed our age.
Yeah, we definitely just showed our age there.
How about, so this is interesting because before we went on camera, we talked about this. And we're pretty sure that our first concert was together. So, your first KISS concert.
I think it was Watts and KISS, Animal My Store.
And it was March 29th, 1985.
Damn.
If you're right, I mean, my first KISS concert was March 29th, 1985. Brendan Burnham's got it. Wasp opened up. For any of you KISS geeks out there that pay attention to these things, because this is pretty interesting, because you know what I remember most about that concert? And this is sad, I remember Wasp more than I remember KISS, because they were so shocking.
They were a spectacle. He wore the saw blades between his legs.
Yeah. He had assless chaps on.
Blackie was a character.
I was about today years old when I figured out that all chaps are assless. Right. But for any of you KISS geeks out there that are interested, March 29th, 1985, the set list was Detroit Rock City, Cold Gin, Creatures of the Night, Fits Like a Glove, which I'm sure wasn't in the live set for very long, Heaven's on Fire, Under the Gun, which I'm sure was on the set list less than even Fits Like a Glove, War Machine, Young and Wasted with Eric Carr singing, I Love It Loud, probably one of my least favorite songs, I Still Love You. I got so tired of listening to Paul Stanley sing that live over the years. I could never listen to that song again. Love Gun, Black Diamond, the encore was Lick It Up and Rock and Roll All Night. And that was our first KISS concert ever.
I just remember it being a spectacle. Like, you would see all their stuff on videos. We watched many concert videos, and just being there live. I mean, obviously they didn't have makeup on, but they showed you. They wrote the book on how to throw a show, how to make a show. So like, it was still. I remember a lot of lights. I remember a lot of explosions.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. I mean,
They had a big thing, fire and explosions.
Yeah.
How about your favorite KISS era?
I can't cheat and clump it all together as one era. So it has to be the era that I entered the party. So like, I guess the 80s.
I think my favorite era is the 70s. When they were on top with the rock and roll over, Love Gun, Destroyer era, when they were at the top, when they were selling out everywhere, when they were, the movie was terrible, everybody knows the movie was terrible,
But it's part of the mystique of KISS.
they made movies.
Well, I mean, your era
The
has definitely
merchandise.
a strong mind, but again, I'm just going by based on what I was able to really fully experience. But like, again, I want to cheat. I want to clump it all together because I like the evolution of KISS from the beginning. You know?
Which 10 hours on the evolution of KISS makeup alone.
Right.
But
Well, that's why we get a lot of, if people tend to really like this, and we get a lot of comments. You can also bring up stuff that you think that should be covered on KISS too, because if the content is something you guys like, I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of good opinions that's gonna jump into this too, so.
and if you guys are still here watching this, by all means, drop your favorite KISS album, song, member, concert, all of those questions that we answered, drop them in the comments below. I'd be interested to see
That's part of the fun of us doing
how
this.
it differs. Your
Yeah.
favorite collectible item, you don't have to have it, but what was your favorite collectible item? I think that would be cool to see what everybody else thinks. And the last thing we got is favorite KISS moment.
That's an easy one for me. And it's probably gonna be, I would say you're probably gonna, I'd be surprised if you're not there too. To me, the pivotal point in their entire history, their core of the pivotal point was when they had the unplugged. When they had the acoustic unplugged thing on TV, they stripped down everything, they played their songs acoustically, phenomenally by one hat. The music was great. The love that they deeply had for each other, even with all the gripes that they had, it was pure. It was a very pure experience because you didn't see any of the animosity. They generally seemed like, even if it was for a moment, that moment right there captured almost kind of like when they started. You could see they enjoyed being together at that moment, and the music was fantastic.
Yeah, what word did you use just now? I'd love to rewind the tape, because that sums it up.
Like encapsulated the whole.
Just they were clean.
Oh, it was pure.
They were pure. Yeah, they were.
And we don't have anything against each other at the moment, and you can just focus on the music. I think that's why it sounded so good.
And I thought, personally, with Eric Singer and Peter Criss, Bruce Kulick and Ace Frehley, I thought that was great. KISS, putting them two guys in Ace and Peter's makeup was just the end to me. I saw KISS and Motley Crue play co-headlining tour, a shed tour at Garden State Arts Center, whatever year it was, and it was the fake KISS. And 2 songs into the show, I was uninterested.
Yeah.
I didn't go see them again until the end of the road tour. Didn't I see them in the end of the road tour with you?
Yeah, that was in Newark, right? Was that the end of the road, or was that just reunion?
No, that was.
That was, we had a whole road.
So I think I saw them
Angel dressed
twice.
up, I dressed like Jean, she dressed like Peter.
I think I saw them twice on the end of the road tour. I saw them once at the Prudential Center, and I saw them once at Madison Square Garden. And it was the end of the road, so I wanted to see them one more time, but it wasn't KISS to me. It wasn't. I mean, KISS with Bruce Kulick is more of KISS.
I agree.
KISS with Eric Singer with no makeup is more of
Well, like
KISS.
we had that talk before, like Bruce Kulick, Bob Kulick, how important was Bob Kulick to KISS?
Oh my God! It comes.
He's like part of the family.
Different news comes out almost daily that Bob Kulick played more and more on records that none of us knew about. So, and yes, favorite moment, defining moment, absolutely to me also is Unplugged. You knew. All right. So I guess that'll do it for us for today, this time.
Yeah, this was fun. I'm really hoping we get a lot of feedback from people in the comments, and this has been a lot of fun. I mean, I don't get bored talking about KISS. I know you don't.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm pretty good. We could do this again even if nobody watches. I'm okay with it.
Well, there's plenty of layers to the onion we can go on into KISS.
If you guys do like what we did here today, please drop it in the comments below and let us know. I would like to know. We're probably going to do it again either way, but I'd really like to know if we're today. Please drop it in the comments below. Any comments is appreciated.
Definitely subscribe to.
Whether you are a KISS fan, a Raiders fan, or a motorcycle fan, please hit that subscribe button. There will be another KISS video somewhere in the near future. So if you like today, hit that subscribe button, hit your notification bell so you get notified.
Share with your friends too if you like.
Share it with your friends. Share it with people you don't like. It's okay. So yeah, that's going to do it for us. You wanted the best.
You got the best.
You did not get the best. You got us.
You got us.
in the garage.
But you got nothing to lose.
Until next time, stay safe.